Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going to be telling our own Star Wars story. And to do that, we'll be using the Boba Fett Mythos 6-scale figure by Sideshow. Let's get started. Alright, here he is at long last, the Boba Fett Mythos 6-scale figure by Sideshow. Still in his box, exactly the way he's going to come to you. Look at all the accessories this thing comes with. You have an arsenal over here along with a jetpack, a couple of lightsabers, and some slight modifications to his classic costume that we're going to get to work with. Can't wait to see what I can do with all this stuff, so let's get rolling. Alright, Boba Fett Mythos, at last. I've been wanting to get my hands on this guy for a long time. Lot going on here. There's going to be a lot of futzing with these fabric elements just to try to make them work and blend as well as we can with the remainder of the costume. He is Boba Fett, obviously, and we don't want to cover all that gorgeous armor. A lot of work went into making that look as good as it did, so we should highlight that stuff. But first things first, we're going to have to dress the figure. And to do that, we're going to need his pistol, his jetpack, 3 lightsabers, a dagger. That's it for now. I'm just going to kind of wander around the figure here and just get an idea of anything I should be looking out for. Back here is where we're going to be putting the lightsabers. There's the holster for the pistol. There's a sheath there for the dagger. That's pretty self-evident. Just want to make sure that I know where everything else goes. Let's go ahead and put that upright. Go ahead and slide this guy in first because I think that'll be the easiest. I didn't bother looking to see how Sideshow had these lightsabers hanging in their production photos, but I think that it's dealer's choice. Hang them in there any way that you like. So I'm just going to basically just do them as they come. Let's get that second guy in there. And there he goes, his trophies. The most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy is feared because he can take down Jedi. This is held on by a magnet. I don't know if Poser Vision is picking this up, but when it comes to magnets, I'm careful to just kind of use my thumb to push them aside like that. I don't like to pull because I don't want to run the risk that I'll break the glue. So just slide them off of each other and then bring the strap back over and let the magnet do its work. Now, here's the best part. Jetpacks are always the best part. I'm going to use an old method of mine to get this guy on. Let's just see how tight these things are first. Oh, that's great. Nice and tight. So when you lift them up, they kind of hover. That's cool. So I'm going to lift this up all the way, and hopefully I can get this one to do it as well. Yeah, perfect. Flip those D-rings up all the way to the top, and then you can bring the jetpack in over the top of both D-rings simultaneously, and then keeping an eye on the one in the back there. And then once you've got a grip, and drop it down. I'm going to rotate it over because I can see that I'm just having issues with it. Now I'm just going to pull this down just a little bit because something about it was preventing, yeah, you can see that it's bouncing back up. I did a little bit too good of a job of flipping that D-ring up. So I'm going to bring it back down. Ah, there we go. Fully dressed, ready to go. This is going to be an interesting challenge. There's so many ways that you can let the wind play with it. You can let it fall limp over, just drape over the top of it like that. But that's just going to take some time and some effort and a little bit of love to make it look as good as it can. So I'm just going to play with that. Wookiee braids, man. Ever-present Wookiee braids. I don't know what Boba Fett has against Wookiees, but if we ever meet, he and I are going to have a talk because Wookiees are cool. All right, so I think that for the purposes of this pose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the wind blowing this way. And I want a gun in his hand, and I think that gun isn't going to be his usual blaster. I think it's going to be this really elegant looking modification to a classic Star Wars blaster. And I'll worry about the cape thing later. I just want to test it a little bit just to be sure that what I'm doing is going to work. Yeah, that's going to look fabulous. Okay, so next we got to switch the hands. Again, in true Sideshow fashion, you've got a wrist peg with every hand. So being really careful not to put pressure on anything that might be remotely breakable, like this. Go ahead and get that wrist peg up into its home. There we go, we got it. So I just want to test. Yeah, you got a good range of motion on that arm. That's awesome. Let's take this gun. Purists out there will call me out for calling it a gun and not a blaster. But I still maintain that while not all guns are blasters, all blasters are most definitely guns. I kind of wish that I could get that to rest on his knee, but that's just not going to be a thing, I think. So let me just see what happens when I bring this back. I was kind of hoping that I could get him resting this gun over his shoulder, but that's just not going to happen. So we'll correct. You can probably tell already that I'm just kind of letting this pose organically determine what it's going to do. What will be the best hand for cradling this rifle? Okay, get that hand back in its home. This strap is kind of hovering, so I kind of want to address that a little bit. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, I see what happened. I just trapped the strap with the hand, so I need to pull that loose so that it can just kind of fall naturally. Yeah, look how nicely that grips. Definitely this hand was made for this blaster. As I'm working this pose, and as I make the adjustments to the fabric, that might change the way that I pose the figure. So right now I'm just going to try to create some pleats in this bit of costumery so that I can pull it aside and we can see the familiar costume of Boba Fett. I don't want to cover that up without actually hiding it. I kind of want to minimize the presence of this comma, or whatever it's called, for lack of a better word. So what this involves is basically just a lot of patience and a lot of experimentation. There's a lot to work with here. Let's just let this fall a little bit further back there. Good, okay, bring that back. Actually, you can use these straps to kind of hold that fabric in place when you're moving it back. And that kind of helps the pleats to stay. Okay, now to come up here and take a look at this bit. I'm just going to spin this around. Now you can see that I knocked this strap loose. If that's going to be a thing, I'll just wait until the end to fix that. That'll be one of my finishing touches. See how that's turned upward like that to expose the underside, and we want to kind of hide that. So I'm going to tuck that back down and just gradually work that wire to make it fall flat. Wind is going to be coming from this direction, and I want it blowing this cape away from him. Once I get this area settled, then I'll be able to work my way around further down on the cape or the poncho or whatever you want to call it. So let me just rotate him around so that I can get a better look at the rest of it. Just about got it. Again, just putting a couple finishing touches on this bit of fabric there. I just want to squeeze that together so it's not quite so billowy. And you'll notice that I was able to keep that Mythosaur skull in view, because I think anybody who has a Boba Fett figure is going to want to showcase that. You don't want to hide that. That's Boba's sigil. If it's not his sigil, then it's a sigil that he stole. That story is yet to be told. Boba Fett, man of action. Boom. Even when you take into account his inclusion in the Clone Wars animated series, Boba Fett's brief role in the Star Wars films left a lot of his story untouched. By bringing the Mythos line into 6 scale, Sideshow's provided an opportunity for collectors to tell their own tales of the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Hey, did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe by clicking the S icon on your screen and click that bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under Product Info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.